Hey there everybody, it's Mike DeLisio with another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at Wayfarers of the South Tigris, coming from Garphill Games and designers Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald. Wayfarers of the South Tigris is the first of a game in a new trilogy that's going to be coming out of the South Tigris. It's going to be one of three. And this is something that this publisher has done. You have the North Sea series, probably the most famous of those games, being Raiders of the North Sea, and then you also had the West Kingdom. You had Architects of the West Kingdom, Paladins, and Viscounts. This is the new trilogy, the South Tigris. 1 to 4 players in about an hour to an hour and a half. Wayfarers of the South Tigris is set during the height of the Abbasid Caliphate, circa 820 AD. As brave explorers, cartographers, and astronomers, players set off from Baghdad to map the surrounding land, waterways, and heavens above. Players must carefully manage their caravan of workers and equipment while reporting back regularly to journal their findings at the House of Wisdom. Will you succeed in impressing the Caliph or lose your way and succumb to the wilderness? All right, well, let's take a look inside. On the cover, you can see the distinctive artwork of the Micho, who has been involved in the art for all of the games of these series. All right, here we go. We've got our rule book right on top there, so let's start there. Here we see our intro with our list of components. The aim of Wayfarers of the South Tigris, be the player with the most VP at the game's end. Shows you all the different ways that you can gain victory points. And here we see again our components and our setup. Played over an undetermined number of turns. Starting with the first player, you take a turn going in clockwise order. Goes round and round until the game end is triggered. On each of their turns, players must either place a die, place a worker, or rest. Then they go into some high-level ideas, tags, influence, journaling, guilds, the different types of cards, how to acquire cards, upgrade tiles, and then we get into the player turn. So placing a die, placing a worker, or resting. And then they go into more detail about all of those different actions. All right. Placing a worker. The game end is triggered once a player reaches one of the 5 final spaces on the journal track. After finishing their turn, play continues once more around the table with all players taking one final turn. And then it gives you a breakdown of scoring along with a scoring example, which I always appreciate. Then you've got the solo play here in its own portion of the rule book. And then finally, you've got a guide to the iconography, some reminders of important rules, etc. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the components here. We've got our cardboard pieces. All right, we've got our provisions here, which anyone who's played other games by this publisher will recognize those provisions. You see them in some of the other games as well. All right, good quality cardboard, as I guess I have come to expect from this publisher. Let's just give you an idea of the art here. These are the player boards right here. Okay. That's the solo side of the player board. We've got our central boards that are going to be put together, and there are, so I think you have like one here. Yeah, and I think you can use either side of these boards. They're double-sided. Actually, I think it would go like this. It's a little off screen anyway, but yeah, these are double-sided boards, and I believe you can put them on either side. We've got our dice here, which are some itty-bitties. Some small D6s, but bright and colorful. We've got some wooden componentry here. Influence markers and workers. Discs, just kind of show you some of those. All right. And then we've got some cards we're going to be looking at as well. Also, as you can see, of course, a custom insert that's going to be a place to place all of those little tiles, and tokens and such. We'll look at the smaller deck of cards first. Then we'll go to the larger deck of cards. And then, finally, I'm going to show you one upgrade, because this is actually something that was fulfilled on Kickstarter first. And got an upgrade for the coins so that they're metal coins. All right, so let's take a look at some of these cards. You can see these are some of the backs. All right. Map, cartography type looking cards. I haven't read the rules distinctly enough to know the terminology yet. You can see they've got iconography on the cards. Once you understand the iconography, I imagine things will make a lot of sense. I have found, this is my personal opinion, I have found throughout the years that Garfield Games, the publisher, does a tremendous job with their iconography. They always tend to make sense for me. I mean, that's obviously, your mileage may vary. I know there are some games where people love the iconography and I struggle with it, and vice versa. So it's always worked well for me. Hopefully this continues that trend. This is a larger deck of cards here. More of the backs. Space cards. All right, here we've got some of our people in the game. A distinctive art style, again, which I particularly enjoy, but as before, your mileage may vary. Whoopsie. All right, but we can get the idea. Looks like these cards kind of have they lay next to each other and maybe they trigger certain things. That's intriguing. I tend to like that kind of a mechanic in card games. All right, and then finally, let's take a look, oopsie, at these metal coins. Again, these are not going to be in the retail version of the game, but I figured I'd show them off just in case you were getting a Kickstarter edition or were interested in what they looked like. All right. There we go. Nice. They've got good heft to them, as you would hope in metal coins. All right. Well, that is Wayfarers of the South Tigris. Thanks for watching another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing.